Want to be the ROM hack prototype. Let's fight a big boss. Can I ask why I'm always on Mullen Space? Because I've used Mullen Space as the intro thing for a number of years, and it's just an easy way for me to tell if the audio is working correctly. That's literally it. I really should, like, get a different intro thing. Like, one that's actually made for me as opposed to a Mullen Space. But at this point, it's just a simple, like, calibration thing. See if I... Oh, wait, no. Like, I could easily, like, go and get the same, like, music and add music it. And then have my own, like, title screen thing. I'm just very lazy and haven't done it yet. Or commissioned someone else to do it. Oh, shouldn't have got greedy. I'm surprised I remember this part of the fight well enough. I missed? Oh, because I was spamming. Right, you can spam. Either way, if I don't get the first half in, like, half an hour, I'm just gonna, like, turn on cheats and go from there. Because there's really no loss there. Dang it, got a double jump. And there's no dash in this. Playing the Cyrano game last night and there was dashing. I think what I learned when playing that is I'm really not using flight nearly enough, and flight is the preferred way of dodging things. I also thought about it for a bit, and I'm like, well, holding up feels awkward. Maybe there's a better way to do it. And I'm like, wait a second, there's a second jump button. I'm willing to bet if you hold the second jump button, you get some benefit for hovering. Dang it. What's up, Zuccotti? Anyway, I hope I answered your question regarding a Mullen Space. It's just a convenient thing, and it's relatively close to the top of the list of hacks in case I need to find one. Because the other reason... Oh wait, now here's the splat bit. What's the other reason? The other reason is because previously, if I didn't... Oh right, into the apple target. Oh, and then he... Right. The other reason was because I needed an SMW hack to check out the audio levels before starting that wouldn't show up via hack in my system because it was introducing superfluous stuff. So I actually would just use the hacked version. Actually, I used to do that, didn't I? I used to hack Mullen Space before the stream started, and then I had to go and fix that up manually when it did the auto-cutting stuff because I got tired of it. Constantly creating very, very small VODs of Mullen Space. It is a nice title screen, it's true. The music's good. You could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse. Somewhere over the apple. But, yeah. Yeah, Hack Jam was fun. Look forward to seeing what the next Hack Jam is going to be like, because it's not going to be Quack Jam. Which, I mean, there'll be more sensible hacks. As opposed to nonsense. Not to say that Quack Jam was fun, but Crack Jam. This is a sick boss? Oh, it is. It's really cool, just friggin' hard. And it takes 40, well, kind of 40 hits. The first phase takes 20, then you have to fight a Thwomp, and then you get a Midway, and then you need to do another 20, and then fight Miku. And then there's like 10 extra hits or something. It's hard for me to tell, judging by the bar. Like, well, generally I find bars re-enlarging to be demoralizing. I think here it's useful because 40 hits is just hard to eyeball. Like, I legitimately do not know how much damage I'm doing to this boss over time, unless I actually count the hits myself. Of course, someone would point out There's only one value that actually matters, and it's when it's at 0. Okay, on 4, he targets me, and then he goes up. And I want to be on the far side of the apples. I need to jump through an apple, and then the whole thing resets. See, I remember the boss now. It just takes some time. And these phases are always the worst, because they're just unpredictable. The best phases for getting hits in are definitely this one and Apple Bounce. It's gonna be apple season soon. Who does that? I get go splat. And then I walk off for no reason. And I blame my controller for some reason, even though clearly I could just go grab another controller out of the giant box of controllers and sub it out. But I refuse to do so for some arcane reason. When I was changing the title of game today, I happened to notice that there were like 700 people watching the Cerno game I was playing last night. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. I look and see who's actually playing it. To no one's shock at all, Cerno TV. Like, oh, dang it, 0 surprise. Whiff punished, I know. It looks like other people enjoying it, and that's a good thing. I think it's a fairly tiny developer. I was going to look at the About Us page, and I forgot to do so after the stream. Did, however, find one of the games I mentioned during the stream. Conveniently emulated reasonably accurately as far as my memory goes on archive.org. Though if we do play Touhou again, I'm going to have to play that at some point during or after the stream. Larger gap? Nope. It's also downside of not playing this again for a while, as it does take a little bit of time to get back to movement tech. Nope. I do love my cheap hits there. That's why I don't really like having these buttons together. X does too many things. X and Y do too many things on this. Actually, you don't go any faster holding X and Y, do you? I need to remember that. But it's very hard to divorce that muscle memory. Basically, if I can get one go-around of this, I'm probably going to be able to at least get to Thwomp. And there are certain phases that, compared to when I first did this, are not as dangerous now. Okay, admittedly, that one still gets me, but honestly, I just need to remember to proc the apple on a different side of the table. Put him on the far left side, and then move him to the right, and then move to the right. Whichever have you. Yeah, not much has happened since last night. I quite literally got up and did laundry. That took a little bit longer than expected, as it always seems to. Needed to get done, though. I was out of clothing. I still had clothing, but not ones I wanted to wear. You know how it goes? Like, you've got stuff, like, squirreled away in drawers you could wear, but you're not going to wear. Plus, I had some new stuff. I went and bought a couple of the GDQ shirts after the fact. Not the, like, attendant one, because I have the attendant one. You have to buy that one beforehand. Otherwise, you don't get it. You could wear it at the event, but I always think it's tacky to wear the event's shirt at the event. I think it's like a runner's sort of superstition. You never wear your race shirt at the race. Just transferred over to a different venue. Yeah, that's what I want. Then I need to do the second to last apple instead of the last apple. Well, it's not even the last apple, is it? But anyway. I got the Shiba Inu one. I actually did meet the dog. Peanut Butter. Ran into Peanut Butter and JSR when Peanut Butter was getting registered. Unfortunately, I saw Peanut Butter again. I never saw JSR again, because I was supposed to tell him hi from Fiskbit. Which is a little bit disappointing. But you know how that goes. Just big conventions, unless you're in the right places, you're not going to find all the right peoples. It's not like I know JSR personally or anything. It's just more or less I know him by reputation and having watched him a few times. But we probably would have appreciated knowing the Fiskbit said hi. I didn't think that through. Boats poorly. Did a little bit of like work stuff that needed doing. Something really boring though. It was a more important thing I was supposed to do, but it wasn't going to happen because another API was depending upon is down. Which would also have been long, tedious, and boring, but you know, you gotta do it sometime. Do have the Steam stuff almost done. Or Steam stuff. Do have the PAX stuff mostly done. I need to install a bunch of games and work out their audio levels. See, that's what I really wanted. Then you can just go under that apple. And I don't know. I've lost my plot on how to do that one. And sometimes you just get hosed by Apple RNG. But I looked at them like, of the 70 some odd games I saw, at least like 20 have something demo-ish. There was one I was actually kind of bummed about because I'm like, oh, it doesn't have a demo and it's such a cool game. It was one of the first ones I saw at PAX, so it would be, you know, high on the list since I actually sorted my list this time, as opposed to sorting it by arbitrary locations. It's sorted by rough timing of when I saw things. Because I actually kept track of this, as opposed to just, here's a bunch of stuff. As opposed to, here's a bunch of litter I collected in my pockets. Which was what I did previously at previous PAXs. But kind of a Celeste Core kind of game, which, again, isn't a bad thing in the slightest, but I thought it, when I talked to the dev there, and they're like, yeah, you cleared that really quick. I'm like, yeah, I've played a few platformers and puzzle games, I know a few things. That didn't go quick enough. But he said, yeah, there's a demo on Steam, you know, if you want to play that later. And it's a longer demo, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. And I look on Steam, and there's not actually a demo, per se. At least not via their API. And if you look at the page, it's not really a demo. But they have a request for beta testers. And if you click on that, it puts you into the demo. So, like, quite literally, I didn't even have to, like, wait for a email or someone to actually press a button. Apparently, if you just click that, you get to play the demo. Which is just a demo with extra steps. So I don't really know why they did that. Not sure I'll play through the whole thing, because again, it's, if I do a survey stream, I can't play through everything. Dang it. Speaking of which, I didn't realize it, but apparently YouTube really loves the C3 survey stream I did. I am utterly confounded. I don't think I've ever had a video on YouTube that had an average watch time of an hour. And this has like 300 some odd views. I am gobsmacked. And it's not like it's all like SMW people, it's just like lots of random recommendations. Like looking at where the traffic comes from, I'm just like confounded that this is happening. Not that it means anything. It's a nice metric and all, but it doesn't actually mean anything. But it's fun. Just tells me that I guess there is, in fact, a demand. Some of my other things that did, like, that sort of, like, YouTube decided to recommend it to 1 million people kind of things, definitely were not nearly as good. Or as well thought out. think Castle Quest was the last thing that had that property. To be fair, Castle Quest was really fun. But... there we go, that's how you do that part. I missed the easy shot. Did I get the shot? Okay, so cool, we got them all. Yay, got the Midway! And there's Hatsune Miku. Alright, that only took 20 minutes. That could have been a lot worse. Here's a hint why I did stop. I don't want people resetting on me. Oh, right. That's how I do this. I stand here and kind of wiggle. Then they wind up. Then I hope for good bricks. You get 4 shots in there if you're quick. And then there's the Miku Stomp. Okay, cool. Have to relearn a few things, but this is feasible. And hope for good brick luck. And then remember where... that's not where you stand. This might take a few lives to remember where I stand for that. We'll do the chill apple strat in the meantime until I get it right. I think it's this one? Nope. Need that wiggle as an emote. I believe it's from a game, so it's definitely possible to rip it. Stivi told me which game it was from, and I do not remember. Or actually, I think it was ripped from Camilla and then ripped, but that was ripped from a different game. I don't remember. Or one of the Camillas. Yeah, that's the square. Alright, time to get used to that again. Miku and Pop don't spread his resource. Well, there you go. Not sure how well she'd fit into the standard Twitch-sized emote, though. She's very elongated compared to most things, and Twitch uses squares. Alright, now this part. Oh, this is the actual Miku Stomp. Well, that wasn't so bad. I think an awful lot of the problem last time is I was already pretty dang exhausted by the time we got to the end of it. Okay, well, it doesn't help all the time. But I swear, coming in fresh makes a huge difference when you're playing something hard. And playing, as I usually do, starting at, like, midnight, doesn't help with that. Like, I kind of wonder if I would one-shot Challenge Clown Piece, not starting that at 3 AM. Maybe not one shot, but do better than get stuck on Phase 3. And only Phase 3. To be fair, though, my other phases weren't exactly great. It's that kind of a game. You just need to practice, and the game gives you the stuff to practice, so... needs to be a little further. I made the argument that Miku could be a Miko because she has exposed armpits, and that's how it works in Touhou. Based upon my limited knowledge of Touhou. That was dumb. I think it's just a Touhou thing. I don't think it's an actual real-life thing. Zune has his proclivities. Is jumping any good there? What? I may need to reread the context. Want to get onto Twitching stream? On Twitch stream? No, go for it. Assuming you're talking mostly SMW stuff, there's an awful lot of people who like watching people play SMW. Definitely more Kaizo than standard, I will say, but... Hey, I'm not sure what the question there is, Zucati. Do you mean jumping when you're dealing with the apple wave? Like, I just do the back and forth thing because I know I can get away with it. I know there's a way for me to, like, hit him on certain apples in that cycle that I was using last time, but it was one of those, until I remember the whole fight, it's not worth busting up the more complicated strategies. Or if you're talking about the fireball thing... Ah, crap. Does the ground fire thing? I don't think so, but I also, like, the strat is consistent when I don't screw it up. Like, if you stand just, like, right here, it's perfectly safe. Not just SMW? Ah, fair. I would assume you have also an interest in I Want to Be the Guy type games. That would be my guess. But who knows, maybe, like, your major thing is Zoo Tycoon, and I would never have guessed it. You never know with people. You know, maybe Juz doesn't actually want to be an SMW streamer. Maybe he, like, secretly wants to be, like, a... Look at the most ridiculous game thing he could pick up. I don't know, secretly wants to be, like, a wizardry gamer. Only playing ancient CRPGs you have to draw maps out yourself for. That seems so unlikely, given what little I know about Juz, though. I don't know, maybe he is a guy who likes drawing maps. Hard to say. You never know. Though, to be fair, I think the only person I know of on Twitch who does actually like drawing maps is Dixie. I'll do it, I don't like it. I like the idea of drawing maps so much more than I actually like drawing them. Just takes forever. And is very inaccurate, given my skill at drawing. This is actually going pretty decently. Like, it hasn't taken me too long to remember most of my useful strats. Once again, the thing I'm most afraid of is dropping off of this during the final countdown section. Okay, cool. I missed the bad apple. Missed the pot shot. Oh, got him. Okay. Dang it! Of course, other games you haven't played start with the OG I Want to Be the Guy. Something easy to warm up with. Fair. Happy Cerno Day to you too, Friday. How you doing? I did play some Cerno game last night. Found one at PAX that I liked and played it for a bit. Actually a lot of fun if you like basically boss fights. It's not that much different than this, except Cerno has multiple hit points, and it's played on a more modern controller because it's a modern PC game. I did poorly. Oh god. There. Have somewhat of an experience with art. Art's good. Yeah, my ability to use my hands to draw things and write things is terrible. On Friday, our DM unveiled his idea for keeping track of initiative better, because people apparently are bad at that. And honestly, I pretty much just, you know, can mess around until my initiative gets called again. So I don't know why he cares so much, but it must be good for other people. And I just pointed out, look, if you want it to be legible, I'm gonna need someone else to write this. And so he acquiesced and wrote the name on the clothespin. Then I got his daughters to do the coloring in for me. Though they only colored one side. But I paid them in Juz Cook stickers. Everyone loves a good Juz smug. Even the DM's daughters. Dang it. Art can be good or bad. It's true. Live ROM hacking streams is a good idea. You can set goals you stream and actually get stuff done. Yeah, programming streams do really well sometimes. There's a lot of people who do like programming or hacking, like hack the box style streams, and those can do quite well. Wanted to work in that vein, you could also do like Zach likes. I would play some of those on stream, but again, it's one of those, it's hard to get into the right mood to play a Zach like to begin with. And then seeing my strategy for beating those is not the best, which is generally write really bad code, then go back and write marginally less bad code. YouTube recommended me one of those sorting videos that come up every once in a while. I think there's some standard program you can just throw it at to make those visualizations. And watched it for a bit, and I'm like, yeah, last time I had to write a sort was for Exapunks, I'm pretty sure. And the first one I wrote was bubble sort, which was bad. And I'm like, well, it worked, it was simple, I'm already writing in weird Exapunks ASM, which has severe register constraints anyway. So, you only get one register, and then you get a back register that you can't access except by flopping the two registers, which isn't bad, and then if you want more registers, you need to spawn more robots. Don't ask me to explain this. Draw more graphics in A-Sprite than building levels in Lunar Magic or coding. Not fair. Bubble sort, the prototypical easy to code but crazy inefficient sort. I mean, it has its place if you're already mostly sorted. But it kind of sucks other than that. Like, if you already only kind of care about sorting, about the order being completely correct, and you can tolerate it, of course, not being completely correct, and you're okay with it converging to a proper value after a while, bubble sort works really nicely. But other than that, it's pretty crap, honestly. Yeah, I think I ended up switching to either, I think insertion sort, actually. Yeah, I think it was insertion sort. Because the way the last level's set up, you don't get all your values all at once. And so, because you're getting them piecemeal, selection sort I think was a lot better than bubble sort for this obvious reason. Because I wasn't getting nearly as much of an advantage bubbling things through, since new items would not come in all at once. Anyway, I don't want to ruin the last stage of Exapunks too much, but basically if you manage to beat Exapunks, you could probably just be a programmer at this point. Like, you end up having to write both a tree traversal and a sorting function. It is not easy. Also, how you doing, Kappa? Once I stopped talking about sorting algorithms for a couple minutes. But, like, an example of a case where bubble sort wouldn't be that bad would be something like polygon sorting, where you only really care about kind of being right, and it's never going to be completely right because of how polygon sorting works for, like, PS1 or Saturn. You kind of have to pick what the, you have to pick a point that describes your sort of, I don't know, it's a difficult thing to explain, but basically, because there's no true Z buffering, you don't really know where a triangle will be in real space. So you have to go, or how it will get drawn in real space. What you have to do, of course, is sort them and draw them in the correct order to use the painter's algorithm. But of course, when you have polygons, what's in front of another polygon is a difficult question to answer. Is it, like, if one vertex is in front, is it in front? If two vertexes are in front? If all three are in front, sure, it's in front. But, like, when you get to the point where there's intersecting polygons, it gets a little more complicated to answer that question easily. What's up, Random Type? Thank you for the good luck. So on those systems, they generally did best effort. And if you're going to do this between multiple frames, well, your sort isn't going to drastically change. So having something that doesn't go and destroy the order of it every single time can be beneficial. Especially if you're willing to say, like, well, if we have, I don't know, 100 polygons, 6 sweeps of bubble sort might just be good enough for each frame. Anyway, it's very specific, though. Not a general Alright, she doesn't do that in this phase. I was getting ready for her to pop up underneath me, and that just doesn't happen in this phase. Oh, that brick spawn was not nice. Okay, good. Oh, no! Yeah, sorting algorithms are one of those things that you, like, get hammered into you in college, and then you basically never consider it again for most programs. You know what sort algorithm I use? No clue. I call sorted on collections in Python, and that does it for me. Is it stable? Yeah, I think it is. That's like the only major question that matters. Is it stable? Is it fast? Yeah, it's fast enough. It's stable enough. Everyone always reaches for quicksort. Quicksort kind of sucks. It's not stable. And if you choose your pivots badly, it goes completely wrong. In terms of efficiency. It becomes a very unquick sort. And of course, everyone loves merge sort because it looks so beautiful when you write in a functional programming language, but of course, 9 times out of 10 you're using something shamelessly imperative, not to mention you're not going to rebuild the whole collection on the way up. Which is the benefit of writing it in a functional language. At least the elegance of it. Because most people just want an in-place sort. They don't generally... They're pretty okay with just destroying the collection as it was to sort things. They're not necessarily interested. And if you want to do a reallocation, I guess sorted in Python does that. But like, if you were to do a sorting thing on like a list in C# or Java, it definitely is in place and destructive. Of course, interestingly enough, there are other sorts that have like nice properties like that. So like the bubble sort or insertion sort and selection sort, like very simple, always works within a decent amount of time. Most interesting favorite sort I got out of a person that wasn't bullshitting, who said something like stooge sort or pancake sort, even though pancake sort sucks unless you have special hardware for rotating your arrays or something like that. Was an actual person, Gary Kimura, saying, no, my favorite is shell sort, which is kind of like bubble sort, except I think you go at it from both directions. That's it. I was looking at the low density cloud of apples and not at Niku. Anyway, his argument was basically, I don't ever want to take up a stack space because I'm a kernel developer, and we just don't do that. And it's true, stack space is a bit at premium in the kernel. Which leads to interesting things like replace stack and call out functions, which are basically like, we think we're going to run out of stack when before this function returns. Let's just go for it. Allocate new stack, and then we'll fix it up on the way back up. I'd often see like three of those on the stack for some operations of NTFS, because NTFS was massively reentrant. But that's neither here nor there. Talking about Mighty Magiswords? Nope. I've seen the show. I did also hear the creator of it got arrested for child pornography recently, which is definitely a little bit weird. At least not ideal. And massively not ideal would be the way to phrase it. It's one of those where I think the concept of the show was probably better than the execution. And had nice voice actors, though. But definitely do not think we're the problem in that case. Yeah, the bubble jumping is definitely the thing that's going to cause me the most consternation. What was I talking about? Stacks. The thing about the stack, it's just a value in a register. If you want a new stack, just allocate one. It's true on almost every system, except certain systems. I don't think it's true on Itanium, but Itanium was nuts. To be fair, you can't take Itanium to be any sort of standard of anything. Like, Itanium, in order for it to work, basically had to have an awful lot of support on the OS and compiler. For instance, you didn't really call a function in Itanium. You had to basically call the function preamble so the processor knew how many stack slots you were going to occupy before it started. Because if it's large register window... I guess not stack slots, the register window, yeah. Because of the register windowing stuff, you need to know how many registers the function would use so it could allocate the correct amount and then stack and unstack them as you were moving along. I got bad apple spawns. That's stacks. Oh, I wish I could just pull up a stack that easy and pop it on off. Yeah, I can never see this in some games where they just like completely replace the registers, because why not? Like, I think Final Fantasy V largely keeps its world engine and battle engine like completely separate, just changes all of the registers so that they don't know about each other, except probably the stack registers so they can actually get back into one after the other. But Final Fantasy V is also re-entrant, bizarrely enough. So I've certainly gotten away with using that. It does not care if it's already on the stack, you can call into that system, which is interesting to say the least, but I wonder if other games are that way too. But I think just because of the way they do the event system versus the battle system makes a huge difference. Thought I was too far to the right, just too far to the left. But yeah. I didn't go for the extra shot. Yeah, I could say without any reservation that the bouncing parts are the scariest at this point. This is 100% dependent upon how bad your apple spawns are. Like, sometimes you get good apple spawns and it's easy. Other times you... Oh, God! Okay, that was just mean. Those brick spawns were just mean. Like, I think I might have had that one. That was going okay. Whiffed my bonus shot there. A bonus shot. Have no idea what stacks are in this kind of ASM context. You've never used the stack. Interesting. Well, the stack isn't nearly as useful in 6502 to some extent, just because it's not as easy to access things with stack relative, if I recall correctly. But the stack is where you put your registers you don't care about presently, as well as other temporary variables. And the reason we do it is because it's really easy and fast to allocate from it. Allocation on a stack is usually just a matter of moving the stack pointer down a bit, or up a bit, depending upon your perspective on stacks. They're useful data structure. They're first on, first off, which is why we use push and pop as opposed to last in, or first in, last off, which is a queue. You can make a queue-based computer, as it turns out, but it's not nearly as amusing as it sounds, or remotely useful. The important part for 6502 is it's where control flow lives. So for instance, when you call a function, the return address is pushed onto the stack. And then subsequently when you return, the return address is popped off of the stack and then jumped to. Where the return address is like the call address plus, well, some constant. I guess it could be 2 or 3, or yeah, 2 or 3 depending upon the call, I guess. I'm trying to remember what the instruction name is. Is it JSL on this? It's jump, save, link, and MIPS. No! Not a coder at all. It's a little bit of ASM. Ah, okay, gotcha. Well, I hope this actually helped a little bit. The stack being for control flow is pretty much common amongst an awful lot of programming paradigms. Though the actual implementation varies depending upon, you know, how you want to do it. In interpreters, you usually have more of an explicit stack than the implicit stack that you get in more of a C programming land. Or assembly programming land. Highly useful data structures, just in general. Stacks are used in an awful lot of places for an awful lot of algorithms, like searching algorithms and whatnot. Like, an awful lot of pathfinding algorithms can be implemented using just the same exact algorithm, but slightly different data structures. So the difference between a depth-first sort and a breadth-first sort basically comes down to which data structure you use, a stack or a queue. And then A star is the same thing too, except you have a heuristic function. And a, what would we call a priority queue, or a priority queue. There's another name for it, I forget. But basically, you pop on I guess heaps are usually how you implement a priority queue, isn't it? Because a min heap or a max heap effectively does what you want. But basically, A star is best first search. So you assume that the best thing is worth searching for when you're looking through your graph of nodes for pathfinding or what have you. And in some instances, A star just works. I mean, basically, A star is the search algorithm you should use unless your properties work otherwise. Like, sure, Dijkstra's works well if you have a well-formed graph and you know exactly what you're doing, but you don't because you're probably talking game dev. More of a visual learners, not really. Well, I'm not going to stop the stream and try to get out a whiteboard to explain this. Unfortunately. You could do it in Notepad. In fact, when I was a TA back in the day, I would basically only use Notepad. I never wrote on the board, because again, my handwriting sucks. We're so close last time. Like I said, that phase is the one that scares me the most right now. This may change. Like I said, this one is basically 100% dependent upon the apple spawns. It could be good or it could be bad. Everything else... Oh, I guess... I've been screwed over by walls recently. How did I jump into the apple? That's nice that you can't update Chrome. I don't care about that. But yeah. Arguably the most useful class I took in college was the data structures class. Because it teaches you all of like the useful quick reach for this if you need to solve this class of problem. Arguably algorithms would have been a better choice, but by the time I had space in my schedule for algorithms, it was senior quarter, and honestly I just couldn't be fucked to do it. I ended up dropping AI because I'm like, yeah, I just don't care about this class. Would have been cool. And of course, we're not talking like modern AI, ChatGPT stuff. We're talking min-max, sort of more classic heuristic-driven AI. There may have been classifiers. I don't remember. We didn't get that far. I pieced out before the checkers project, which was hilarious. One time, a fellow lab mate was working on one of those projects and was like, oh, it's just not working right. I keep losing. But he didn't realize he had implemented min-max wrong. Because the basic precept of min-max is figure out what the best move you can make is. Take that. Figure out what the best move your opponent could take. Take that. Etc. So you kind of flop between the two extremes. The problem is he'd implemented it backwards, so his opponent always took the best move, and he always took the best move for his opponent. Which could be hilarious, but makes for a really lousy project to turn in. But you'd be shocked how decently like min-max can work. There are certainly better heuristics for other things, especially when it is complicated and difficult to determine what the best move is. Like chess. Chess is hella complicated in that regard. And Go. Go is hella complicated in that regard. Oh good, I got the mode. God, I do not like playing Flappy Apple. With Miku breathing down my neck. I did it! Eat it, Miku! Eat it, Apple! Alright, Miku, please don't step on me. Okay, good, she left. No, don't put the controller down. There could be trolls here. Congratulations! You are the ROM hack! I want to be the ROM hack prototype created by Stivi. Inspired by I Want to Be the original I Want to Be the Guy by Kayan. I don't know his last name's O'Reilly. Huh. And it's many fan games. Spiny. Little Goomba. They finally learned to stay on ledges. Aw, look at them. Look at them go. Music ported by Iron, Hertz Devil, Kevin, Major Flare, and Red and Green. Lakitu went back to being a nuisance after Mario Kart. I love these sort of endings, honestly. Like, it's the Animal House ending. I don't know who did it first, but Animal House is always the one I think of. Custom sprites by Stivi, Ice Guy, Fernap, Russian Man Yan, Yoshi Kukazu, Axel Spades, Cooperster. Richard. Spike. Wait a second. Okay, good. Good. I can't control this as he walks into Spike and Mini Spike. ASM patches by Clario and Disco the Bat and Russian Man and Vitor Viella and World Peace and White Yoshi Egg. Thwomp. Come on. Come on. Yes. Uber ASM by Baphomet Jr. Oh, that's a new one. Burning Loaf, Russian Man, Dark Bloom. Bullet Bill prefers to go by William now. I respect it. Custom Blocks by Mario Fan Gamer, Russian Man, Stevie. Delicious Fruit. What's their deal? No one knows what their deal is. But you know, they'd probably be really tasty in a pie. Custom Graphics by Keun and Natsu's. Spreader's Resource, another thing. Tools by lots of people. Flora +2, Tattletale, Dibiob, Vitor again, Yoshi Fanatic, and of course Fusoya. Playtesting by Bevan Lake, Donut, Ian Boy, Tudor, Selkree, Shadow Mage and Stevie, Hell Fruit, and Hatsune Miku. Boss Fight by Stevie. Thank you for playing. Alright, cool. We defeated the boss. The apples are gonna fall on me, I just know it. Here we are, back at the title screen. Is there anything else I should do before pressing new and going and looking for that last bonus thingy? Just to double check. Thank you for the GGs, people. Thank you. You can walk in the lava when you beat the boss? Oh, I was ready for anything to kill me. I was very much like, I'm holding the controller, I don't want anything to happen now. But I appreciate not letting the world kill you after you beat the boss. That is a nice feature. Especially when you still have control. Yeah, I actually have a backup save, so worst comes to worst, I can restore the backup save, so that's not an issue. We'll do new game then. Try to avoid... Oh, no, wait, I'll have to touch that at some point. Touch something at some point. There we go. Time to go to the vortex of other stuff. Alright, good level design room. Where the hell do I land? We'll give this a few tries, and if I find it to be eminently frustrating, we'll just cheat our way and see what the last thing is. I'm certain this is beatable. Given it's a bonus room, it's probably okay. Like, it's basically, what would I do if, say, someone decided to include Corndilly in their ROM hack, right? And I'm moderating it and suddenly Corndilly, and I'm like, okay, well, it's Corndilly. I don't want to beat Corndilly. Should play Crimson Needle 2.5 after that. It's the hot new fan game. I don't know what we're gonna do afterwards. There'll probably be a poll. But I'm not presently set up, and here's the thing about streaming, is it's really annoying to get audio to work correctly. Like, trying to get audio to sound just right on stream in combination with voice is really tricky, and one of the reasons why, in general, I'll just reach for SMW, because I can easily trust that the audio levels in SMW will generally be about the same in any given hack. But when you're dealing with PC games, then you actually need to go and check and try to figure it out, and it's really hard. I've yet to figure out a really good way to do it. The way I used to do it is I would record audio and listen to it over and over and see if I could hear it. Hear it well compared to my voice. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes what I would do is I'd stream on the other, like, the test account I have on Twitch and ask, like, someone, hey, would you be willing to check my audio levels before I go live? And I used to get Fiskbit to do this, and now I don't do that very often. And now the other thing I do is just kind of, like, glance at the audio levels in OBS and kind of hope. That's what I do when I'm traveling. It works okay, but also the earbuds I'm listening to it on aren't exactly characteristic. They're iPhone earbuds. They're not great. What's up, New Pointless? How you doing? Oh, I played your level from a couple weeks ago. Yeah, the ROM Hack Races level. I think I did that on stream like Sunday or Monday or something last week. It was a fun level. Had I raced it, I probably would have had a decent time. I probably would have finished around when Blackbird did. Though I did get a hint about what to do in Room 6 because I was being dumb. Check the VOD. Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. That'd probably be the easiest place to find it. It's only a few few days old. Make it easy. A lot of people got hints. Oh, okay, I'll feel good about that then. Also, you know, like, there's a difference between playing it on stream and racing. Like, one, you get more hints, and two, like, I'm trying to read chat and stopping to read chat and thinking about things, whereas racing, I can just be like, I'm going to unleash a tirade of profanity, and you can't hear any of it, and it will just be muted because my microphone is flashing at me. So... God. You know, the funny thing is, looking at this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jumps. A lot of newbies are playing, but some rooms are tricky, so HR people dropping hints. Ah, okay. Like, the one thing I fumbled on was the yellow shell room with the Yoshi. And, like, I started trying to do, like, Yoshi tricks, and someone finally, actually, Kappa pointed out, think about yellow shells for a minute. What does that mean? It's just 8 jumps. How hard could it be? 8 jumps. There was actually a mystery hunt puzzle this year that involved the count. It was actually deceptively simple, and none of us wanted to do it. It turns out that Sesame Street had released an album of, like, the Count's top 10 greatest hits or something. I forget what it is. It's got a cutesy name. And we were given a hint about that existing and a list of numbers. And all we had to do was listen to the Count's greatest hits and mark off all of the numbers he actually said and notice the numbers he did not. And then index those into the name of the name of the song or something. But after spending a while listening to the Alligator King song, I'm like, even if I know what to do, I don't want to do this. And so I moved on and did something else. But the fact that that album exists does make me happy. But yeah, otherwise I didn't have too much trouble. I did have, like, a couple of silly solutions. Like, there was one with, what was it? There was a cape bit where you had to fling a mushroom into a 1-up into a on-off block. And I managed to get it up there, but kept having trouble getting it into the block. And so I was trying to mess around with the cape and the twirling, and eventually I'm like, screw this, I'm just going to cape slam and knock it into it when it needs to go in. Played a few rooms of Second C3. Yeah, that's how I ended up moderating it. I got to the cloud level and decided I want to moderate this. And honestly, aside from, as long as there's nothing absolutely offensive if I hit that bubble, this is ready to go. I already know if I have to change it. I'm going to be honest, I still think Standard Very Hard is about the best difficulty for this. I do think it's probably a question that will need to be broached with the other moderators at some point. I'm not sure. Has there been trolls? There's been a couple of trolls, but not too many. There's been a couple of Miku pop-ups out of nowhere. But it's mostly been pretty straightforward and solid in that regard. I think it even says so in the description. It does not focus on the trolls. Like I said, I'm only going to give this so long before I just cheat my way to the bubble. I'm pretty sure I know how I'm going to do it, too. Because I remember, actually, I don't know if the spikes are insta-death or just hurt. If they're just hurt, I can make this easy on me. If they're insta-death, then things become a lot trickier. Yeah, I played through a few other ROM hack races levels recently. I've been kind of was in a Kaizo-y mood. Ended up beating, like, 2 Kaizo hacks and a few ROM hack races level in the last week. They're hurt? Okay. Because, like, Miku was definitely kill. She was a kill box. And the apples were hurt boxes. Just gonna keep hopping on there. Should play Simpasio. Wish You the Overworld. I don't think I've ever seen that. I mean, I'm also not very good at Kaizo. Yeah, no. Let me appreciate... Okay, 1, that's a great title screen, by the way. 2, yeah, that's a really nice overworld. It looks really nice. But yeah, no, Kaizo Expert, that is not happening. The 2 Kaizo hacks I beat were Kaizo Beginner-ish. One was a Power Up Party, which was made for a ROM hacking competition. I think a German ROM hacking competition. Like, basically it was like take an existing vanilla level and make it interesting, Kaizo-wise. And so the hacker, whose name eludes me right now, basically took Top Secret Area, blended up with LX5's Power Up Pack, and made a bunch of different tiny one-room-ish challenges. They weren't all one room, but it was close to one. Well, they were all one room, but it wasn't all one screen, if that makes sense. But very much, you know, Nightmare Cafe, 100 rooms of enemies style thing. It did not have the laser suit, unfortunately. Have to say, definitely missed the whole thing with the laser suit. There was one level I played, or maybe was it in the original QLDC that was about the laser suit? And it was like, I just do not get this reference. Alright. I think I've had enough of the good level design room. It'll take a second to hook back around. Okay, last time we did this, I needed to be in the game first before loading all my escape. When we do this, the sprite will behave oddly. Yep, those are totally hurt boxes. Look at that, this is so much easier. We can just walk through. Awesome, you beat it. Here's your prize. It's a dog. Hooray for dog! Okay, good dog. Problem solved. Right, that's gonna be a problem. It's not your problem, it's my problem. Let me just verify that that didn't break. Double check that it is exitable. But I think the problem is that I am, you know, tall Mario instead of the kid. So unload 19-0. And that should make us kid again. We loop through the dog room. We do not immediately teleport back into the hole. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. And we'll enjoy this cat. Because why not? Alright. Maybe the laser suit came into the SMW Central server with a Trump got banned later. Uni, your beloved. I think Uni, that is not the first name, but is a very cute cat. I do like a good cat. Alright. Yeah, I have no markers. Nothing is broken. I'm just going to approve this. I don't usually do that on stream. I usually am like, I'm going to check my notes. I didn't make any notes. So, bam, done. It has been successfully approved. And now I'm going to double check to make sure I didn't accidentally feature it, because I'm not supposed to do that, and it happened last time I approved a hack. I'm not sure why. Yeah, it's not in Hall of Fame. Good. Okay. His name is Uni. I like it. Is he wearing like a bow tie? Is that what's going on here? Maybe I can see it better through the stream capture. It's always hard with portraits because it crunches down the colors so much. It is a very attractive, like a tuxedo cat is a good type of cat. I approve. Uni, good Uni. Alright, well, you know what? Cat Twitter, I have to look up cat Twitter. Ah, Japanese cat. Japanese cats are a high-class type of cat. I'm a big fan of Bike Cat. I used Bike Cat as my profile pic on Twitter for a very long time. It's a very old account. Or doesn't post much, I guess is what I meant to say. Anyway, yep, that was fun. I hope to see more of this in the future. And if there's more, I think basically as long as there's only really about two total conversion hacks that I can think of. Maybe there are others, I can't think of them. But World's Hardest Hack and this are pretty much the only two, like, how do we rate the difficulty of something that's made in the SMW engine but isn't really SMW? Because neither of them are SMW. Like, this is not SMW. You could also make the argument, like, is Shell's Retriever... Is it Shell's Retriever? No, not Shell's Retriever. What's that one? There's one shell hack that massively changes the physics for shell jumps. I forget what... Sheffy shells. So I think there's more than two. Maybe we should worry about it. But for the time being, it's one of those, like, categories are made for people using them. If someone looked up Kaizo hacks and found this, I don't think they'd be happy coming away with it. This isn't really a Kaizo hack. I think people looking in very hard will be happy to find this. And that's sort of where I'm at with it. But if anyone takes serious umbrage with this, submit it in writing somewhere. Because I'm not going to deal with it right now. But But yeah, that's it. This was fun. Thank you much for making it. And thank you for showing me this awesome cat. Kaizo streamer's too afraid of playing I Want to Be the Guy. I don't think that's really the issue. Like, I'm certain that once this does the YouTube rounds, you'll see it on, like, Juzz and Barb and I don't know who else. Jerk, maybe. Like, this will make the rounds, certainly. It's too cool not to. People will find out about it, but mostly when it comes to difficulty, it's used for people judging, can I beat this? And I'm just looking for a ROM hack I want to play. So, it's tough to classify. That's really it. Like, it's very much orthogonal to our current system in a way that I don't think matters. Like, once another one of this comes out, once Sweet Dude decides to make another weird Flash game conversion, I don't know, but we'll figure it out then. I think it's perfectly fine to leave it where it lies right now.